Okay, so here we are at Jim Bob's garden once again. Alright, and you can see those are my two apple trees over there. So my third apple tree, I was going to leave it alone and not mulch it just as an experiment, but my wife has informed me, since she's named the three apple trees after my three daughters, that it would not be fair to my third daughter, actually my oldest, if I was to not mulch this tree. So we're going to go ahead and mulch it, and I'm going to show you how I went about doing the mulch over on this tree. Alright, so the first thing I did, as you can see, is I mowed it down to next to nothing, and then I've watered it. Now this tree was planted almost a year ago. It was in the spring of last year. So we've had a pretty good solid freeze here for the last week or two, so all the grass is dead. I've gone ahead and mowed it down to next to nothing, as low as I can mow it, and pulled up the weeds right around the tree, and then I'm going to cover it with cardboard and then put some mulch on top of it, and I'll show you as we go along. Alright, so there we go with the cardboard. Now, I didn't say this earlier, but what I did do prior to laying all the cardboard down is I soaked the ground real good. Make sure that we got water up underneath the cardboard, because it's going to take a while for this cardboard to rot down. So now I'm going to soak this down, and then I'm going to take the wood chips that I have created over there with my wood chipper, and I'm going to go ahead and use that to cover hopefully all of this with a nice layer of wood chips and between the cardboard, which the design or the idea behind the cardboard is really just to keep the grass from coming back up. Alright, which is also why you mow it down as close as you can, because Bermuda grass in particular is very invasive and can be a problem. But you know, I know in a lot of the places they tell you have to cover every inch of dirt, but we're going to go with this, and hopefully it'll get the job done. I guess we'll find out. So here we go. And even with a little breeze that's kicking up, now it's not flying around. It's amazing what a little bit of water will do to keep it in place. So I've got a roughly circular pattern. Doesn't have to be perfect by any means. I will say this though. I'm thinking next time, as you can see, I got a pond right back there. I'm thinking next time maybe I'll soak the cardboard in the pond before I go laying it down. It doesn't make the cardboard fall apart. It might make it a lot easier to lay down. Either way, we got the cardboard wet. This is Jacksonville area, and the problem with our sand here, I should say our dirt here, is it's mostly sand. And the disadvantage of that is a lot of drainage happens. So if I don't soak it down real good, I'm afraid that everything's going to dry out before the cardboard starts to rot and allow a lot of moisture to go down into the soil. So that's why I'm making sure I soak everything really well before I go and cover it up with mulch. Now, this is my cart. It's like a little red wagon on steroids. This is the coolest thing, mostly because I can carry stuff around without having to work as hard at it. And it's got a little dump handle where I can actually pull up on the front and dump it where I need it to go. I know that a lot of you are working on a budget. I happen to be lucky in that I can afford a few things. But I will tell you, if you can afford it, I highly recommend this little piece of equipment. It's probably one of the best things I've ever bought. Alright, so here is the semi-finished product. I've got, I'd say about 3 inches of wood chips down around the tree. But one of the things you don't want to do is you don't want to have mulch right up against the base of the tree. So I'm going to go ahead and pull some of that back and see if we can't get a nice little well, basically to hold water and also to keep from having any kind of material right up against the trunk of the tree. So there you go. As you can see, I've got a nice little well pulled back. If you get stuff right up against the root of the tree, from everything I read, it can cause fungus and basically start rotting out the bottom of your tree and make the tree die, which we're trying not to do. Now you say to yourself, why in the world would you do all this? Well, first off, I guess I can show you my picture. Okay, so first off, the reason that I'm doing this is, one, to conserve water. Now I do have a sprinkler system out here, and I'll continue to use it, at least for the meantime. But the idea is, if I can do this, this will hold water and keep me from having to continually water my yard, particularly the garden area. And second off, if you think about it, I had all these trees that fell down as a result of Hurricane Irma, and they needed to be cut up. That's why this is a mixture. Some pine, some of them were crepe myrtle, some of them were just junk trees. So I chopped them all into bits, and I had to do something with them. So what better way to do it than to turn it back into soil by letting it rot on your yard. We had Hurricane Matthew a year and a half ago or so, and when it came through, I probably put a 6-foot by 20-foot wall of branches, tree limbs, and so on out in front for the city to come and pick up. Then I got to thinking about it. Man, all of that is gone now. There's nothing I can do with it. I could have tried to burn it, but now it's filling up a landfill somewhere, and all that nutrient, all that biomaterial is now left my yard and is gone somewhere else. So in order to try and be more sustainable, and don't get me wrong, I am not a permaculture expert, but in order to be more sustainable, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start trying to return everything from my yard back to my yard. In the process, I'm going to try and make a food forest and feed my family. And if everything works the way I think it should, then by the time, well, I'm 55 now, by the time I'm too old to give, the kind of effort that a garden really needs, hopefully I'll have a garden that takes care of itself. All right, and that'll be it for today. Once again, January 22nd, North Florida, outside of Jacksonville. Y'all have a great day.